Now, from grass to global runways, France has long dominated the world of fragrance. But behind many iconic scents are raw materials sourced far beyond Europe. Jasmine, ylang ylang, and rare botanicals cultivated across Africa. At Paris Perfume Week, a growing number of African creators are stepping into the spotlight, not just as suppliers, but as innovators. Among them, Yusif Meizongo Jnr., said to be Ghana's first artisan perfumer. Welcome, Yusif. So, my first question, I'm intrigued. So, what took you to choose that craft?
I think passion directed me to choose that path.
Passion for scents, for
Passion
flowers,
for
what made you decide from an early age, because you look like you're quite young, so
Yeah.
to this, or is it just because you like to wear perfume?
No, not because I like to wear perfume. Since I was little, I've had a very sensitive sense of smell, extra sensitive. In a room of 100, I'll probably be the first to smell a bad odor or a good odor. So growing up, I always wanted to be a footballer. And then I found myself in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, where I went to play football. But one way or the other, next to where I lived, that was where Madame Bijou lived. And may she rest in peace, that is where I started picking the craft of perfumery and started learning perfumery. So from there, she would tell me that, hey, I don't think you're going to be a footballer. I think you're going to be a perfumer because you have a very special nose. And from there, after uni, I decided to dive deep into it in Ghana. And I started traveling all over the world to take classes, better my knowledge in perfumery and the mastery, etc. And today, here I am from Ghana in Paris.
So was it easy or difficult for you in Ghana to follow your passion?
Yes, it was a little bit difficult and more easier. Difficult in the sense that to better my knowledge, I always have to travel out of the country to another country to learn extra, then come back. But in all, I think it's been an easy journey. It's been smooth.
So now, today you have your own brand. Do you get inspired from your roots, which is Ghana?
Absolutely. Every single thing about Maison Yusif is intentional. Maison Yusif is an indigenous artisan niche fragrance house that draws its inspiration from the rich cultural heritage and the stories, history of Ghana and Africa and beyond. So every single scent about Maison Yusif is very personal to whoever's wearing it. It's not just about smelling good. It's about the storytelling of the fragrance, the authenticity of the fragrance house. Every fragrance at Maison Yusif, all 18 fragrances that we carry, are either speaking about feelings, emotions, history, story, etc.
So, for example, you brought some of your perfumes, your collection. So if you take one, for example, can you tell us the story about, for example, the one that is in your box?
This is one of our fragrances. It's called El Patron, inspired by one of my favorite characters in the story of Ghana and Africa. That is the late Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlins. He was one of the first democratic presidents of the Republic. He was very charismatic, so charismatic that people would say they hated him so much, but the moment they see him in person, they wanted to hug him and kiss on his cheeks. So growing up, I wanted to create a fragrance that represented charisma. So I made this creation based on a smoky, woody resin. This fragrance represents charisma. And if you want to get a very rich, smoky resin, you can only find it in the west of Africa. So this impacts my knowledge and the artistry of fragrance, and also everything about Maison Yusif representing Africa and Ghana right here. Not just with the story, but also with the scents.
So for this particular fragrance, so you're talking about wood. What kind of plant would you use? Or what mix of scent fragrances that you use for that particular perfume?
So for something that is supposed to be charismatic, it has to be strong, a very strong character. So this fragrance right here is very smoky, woody, carries very rich ingredients like frankincense, myrrh, nard, agarwood, which is called liquid gold in perfumery, to represent the kind of profile that I need in this perfume.
So you're here in Paris, which is obviously one of the the household of perfume. How would you differentiate the African perfume from, let's say, other European or American houses of perfume?
You know, what I'll say is people don't patronize this story much, but Africa and Ghana is artistic in nature. Talk about culture, talk about rich culture. Like as I'm sitting here, look at what I'm wearing. This is a Ghanaian full kente bead. This is royal, this is culture. If we're going to differentiate between the Western perfumery and African perfumery, where does perfumery start from? Where is the birth of perfumery? Egypt, Mesopotamia. This is the true origin of perfumery. This is the true nature of perfumery. Now, let's differentiate that and put it aside. If you come to Africa, Ghana, for instance, we have one of the richest soils in the world. Africa alone carries 13% of the entire forest reserve. If you want to smell rich spices, rich florals, rich plants, roots, etc., and these are the things that are used to create fragrance, come to Africa.
So it's richer and
way richer.
Yeah, richer.
Way richer. Talk about true depth of fragrance. Hey, listen, the entire world has gotten so familiar and used to Western fragrance, which is very good. That is fine. I'm a big fan of Western fragrance too. But the perfume consumer wants something new now. The fragrance lover wants to smell something that tells a story without you telling him a story. They smell a fragrance and immediately it reminds them of something, a place, a memory, and they know this is different. This is not the regular Western perfume. No, this is a fragrance with true depth. This is made in Ghana and Africa.
This specificity, do you think it gets enough recognition on the market?
Say that again.
The specificity of the African perfume, do you think on global stage it gets enough recognition?
No, it doesn't get enough recognition, and that is sad. I think, excuse my language, there's been a very intentional effort to cancel Africa out of the fragrance map, but by bit, with collective effort of all African perfumers worldwide, we're doing our best to put ourselves back on the scale. Perfumery started from Africa, and perfumery is supposed to be royalty. I was speaking someday and someone said, Maison Yusif is a luxury brand. And I said, Maison Yusif is not a luxury brand. We are an African brand. And what is an African? An African is royalty. Hey, when you say luxury, anyone can work hard and achieve and purchase luxury. Royalty, you cannot be rich today and say you are the son of a king. It doesn't, you are born royalty. And African perfumery is royal.
Thank you very much. Royal and very talented artisan perfumer. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you too.
And that's